When it comes to the second season of Arifureta, for me personally, there is absolutely no hesitancy to say that this is literally it's my favorite anime of this year so far. And yes, we have the year. I've talked about it last week. We have a year where Demon Slayer, second season just ended, where Attack on Titan is currently airing, to where we have anime that is like, just really just setting the world ablaze, like My Dress Up Darling. But when it comes to Arifureta, like, it has been one of my favorite anime in the past, and in the second season, it is just so freaking good. Now, this is really really good for fans of the series, right? It's kind of hard to recommend for people who are very critical or very picky, it's a hard recommend, because as a critic, I definitely have to recognize all of its flaws, not only in season 1, but a little bit in season 2 as well. But honestly, though, I think that if you're a fan, we're all eating really, really good when it comes to Arifureta season 2, because it's doing what we loved already in season 1. A lot less action, right? A lot less action versus season 1. But, like, take this episode for example, right? So this episode, this one was called... I guess there was no name. This one was called A New Vow. So episode number 7, A New Vow, right? And in this specific episode, we got these little curated moments for us, and we got really heavy, not heavy, I don't want to go that far. We got ecchi, right? We got some really cool ecchi fan service in the beginning of the episode. Then we're taken through an emotional roller coaster. Then we're immediately greeted to this thriller, this thrilling narrative that is being kind of constructed for us outside of Hajime and their group. And then we get met with the end of the episode where we go, we have that moment, right? So during episode 7, we get all of these different emotions, right? As a fan, as someone just looking, to look at the girls and stuff, you're like, oh, yeah, we eating good. And then, you have that emotion, you're like, oh, Mew. And then you have that, then you have that next thing to where it's like the princess is running away. And then at the end, you're like, Captain, he stabbed Captain, I saw it coming. So you have all of these specific curated moments for us. And I think that this season is it's a home run for this studio. I really think that, they grabbed what was there. They grabbed everything that was good about what was there. They grabbed the source material and they threw the source material at the wall, and it stuck. And then they threw fan service, they threw ecchi, they threw these narratives and an awesome ass OP, and we just have this really good mesh of an anime in season 2, and it's really just impressive to me. And I know a lot of people probably didn't make it this far. I know a lot of people have probably dropped it already. If anybody has semblance of interest in season 1 and they started here, it's pretty rare to think that, hey, you dropped it, because you're getting a lot of the same. But, there's going to be people out there who never even made it to episode number 7. And again, I think that's a disjustice, because it's really, really good. So I'll quickly tell you guys the recap real fast of this episode. So again, like I said, we get the first part of the episode where you have, Hajime spending time with the girl, spending time with Mew specifically, getting closer to Mew's mom. They go out there and they have some fun in the sun. They get their bikinis on. They get to go run around. Shay gets her top taken by Mew as fun and games. They all hail and glory to the king Hajime and give them their every clothing part that they have on them. Our girl Tio ends up naked in the river. And then we get a really cool scene with Mew's mom making a pass at Hajime, calling him her darling, calling him her husband, basically saying you stuck with me, homie, we a family now, you know what I mean? And a lot of the questions I had during this scene too, which was funny, is how did the inception of Mew work? It seems like the way that these aquatic type folks, it seems like they don't necessarily need to mate. They can, but it doesn't seem that they need to mate to have children. But at the same time, she did have a dad, and he's dead or out of the picture or something. So it's that whole thing is an interesting concept to me. And I'm assuming they did still mate and stuff like that too. But I found that interesting. But again, we got that whole first part of Miu's mom and her being in an interesting position, which Tio very nicely called out for us. We got that very unneeded part where Miu pointed out Hajime's stiffness in the morning. We got that whole scene and stuff too, which it was completely unneeded, but it made me laugh. I don't care. I have the sense of humor of a 14-year-old sometimes, so it's fine. I laughed and I went, ooh, so I still enjoyed it. But, I know some people it's very distasteful and they'll get all butthurt about that scene, even though it's just someone's drawing come to life. But regardless, and then as we moved on from there, we got Miu's goodbye. And Hajime's original plan was to simply say goodbye and cut ties with Miu, leave her back in the best situation, which is with her mom. But at the same time, like, the funny thing that we always say in life is like the heart wants what the heart wants. And once you build a connection, especially to like a child, right? Once you have that connection, it's like an unbreakable bond. And Hajime quickly realized that saying goodbye to Miu on a permanent level is a lot harder than he probably originally imagined, and having to separate himself forever from Miu is almost an impossibility. So he makes that vow and that promise that no matter what happens, he's gonna come back and retrieve her before he goes back to Japan. Now that promise also involves Miu's mom. Because she's like, yo, you hubby. Like, that's it. Like, I'm going with you. And I like how Yue and Kaori and everybody had to kind of accept that narrative as well, too. So I like how she made her moves in there. And I like how he has a renewed bond that, come hell or high water, like, I'm going to take Miu home with me. Even though she is of the aquatic, gilly type thing, she'll have to find some way to fit in. The only worry I have for her on a personal level is just when she tries to find love and stuff later on in life, having to be in Japan. You know what I mean? Like, that's going to be a little rough for her. But regardless of that, I did really like that vow, and it was pretty emotional. I was surprised that Hajime didn't cry at all. It seemed like he was going to break character for a moment, but he didn't. He kept strong. Then we had the last half of the episode, which was the princess running away, her trying to... I'm guessing she's running to Hajime in some way, shape, or form. I'm wondering where the hell Shizuku is at, because Shizuku seems like she's like the most well-rounded, cool-headed character when it comes to the classmates. I'm wondering where the hell she's at in all this. She's pretty much been non-existent. Same for as well as the hero boy from the class as well. I forget what his name is, but the one who has the gold-plated armor. I wonder where the hell he's at. He's the one that I suspected would turn pretty quickly when he had a chance to get one back at Hajime, because he's very prideful. And then we have the whole thing with the other classmate. I forget what his name is, but the one who tried to kill Hajime originally. Basically, he ended up stabbing the captain of the guardsmen. I forget what his name is too, but he ends up stabbing him, which we saw coming. We were like, yo, we knew something's wrong with this dude up in the head. But he definitely sided with the nun lady, which I don't know specifically if she has ties to the demon lord, the same ones that the demons are hailing, that they said, the prophet that talked to them or whatever. I don't know if they're necessarily connected, or they might be running parallel, but they might worship two different lords or whatever. So I'm wondering on how and what is going to happen with that whole narrative as well, too. It's becoming extremely interesting, and I kind of want to get a little bit more, which I've shared with you guys before. I want to get more into that. And we have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have 5 episodes left, so we're going to see on what ends up happening. But, man, I'm loving this season of Arifureta. I'm about to hit 10 minutes, so I'm going to stop talking now. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. As always, I appreciate you guys being here every week. And Kaori's best girl. Sorry. All right, peace out, guys.